Hi everyone, I'm Cerise.
I'm Joe.
Are you sure that you're Joe? Okay, so today we're gonna talk about life. We're gonna talk about like all kinds of things about life, right? And the core of this point is that life is actually simple. You know, in terms of what we need, what is needed in order for us to live, it's pretty simple. We need food, water, oxygen, a house, or at least a safe place. But everyone knows that it's not that. At least that's not what we've created. That's not how we live. And I am absolutely not okay with how difficult life is. And I don't like how pretty much everyone in the world has to live. And I don't like that we don't enjoy life, at least not the way that we could. So, I know that we can't change the world. I can't change the world by myself. I mean, it's not going to happen. But I can change who I am. I can change how I live in my life as an individual to start creating the kind of life that I would want to live, to start treating people the way that I would like to be treated, to start living the principles that I would like to see in every person, to consider others the way that I would like to be considered. Because life has this potential. There is so much more that we could be creating, that we could be living. Life could be beautiful. And that is where my focus is. That is what I live and breathe. Creating, nurturing, harnessing the potential of what life could be. Even though, yes, at the moment, it's pretty fucking hard. You know, yeah. We're all struggling to get through the month. So, what do you have to say about it, Joe?
Life is simple is an interesting thing for me to look at because oftentimes I'm guilty of being one of the people that overcomplicates things and makes life other than simple. I will, for instance, go into blame and judgment about how the world exists and what everyone else is doing and why no one else seems to be aware enough or willing enough to fix it and stand up and do, interestingly, the things that I actually am afraid to do myself.
The things we tell ourselves, I can't do that.
And life is simple is something that I sometimes fail to incorporate into my life effectively because I will, for example, go into I can't change the world, so what's the point? And not taking into consideration the example that I'm setting. With that very acceptance, that very thought that's in my head that I allow to influence whether or not I do a vlog, whether or not I speak up, whether or not I share myself as a person that, does see this problem. Who am I if I don't say anything? Who am I if I don't actually live the statement that life is actually simple? And what does that mean to me, that life is simple? To me, life is simple means that the solutions that we actually need in this world for ourselves and each other are not a mystery. We know what we need. We have exactly what we require for everybody on this planet to have a life that is free from worry, free from survival, free from having to live in a state of constant fear and uncertainty. And all of those things contribute to the kinds of lives that we're accepting right now as normal. all the things we're telling ourselves, I've told myself that it's not ideal, but meh.
What am I going to do about that? How can I change that? I am not going to be able to make one iota of difference in the lives of those people who are suffering.
So imagine that thought, that exact pattern of thinking in your own head, where you kind of go, yeah, I mean, it's not great, but I can make myself okay with it. I can put up with it. So take that pattern and then multiply that across the entire spectrum of humanity. And picture what happens if everybody had that same pattern. Actually, you don't have to picture it, just look out your window. Because that is how we're creating this very system, this very state of affairs, where we look out into the world and we're actually seeing our own patterns, our own issues, but then we don't take that extra step of asking ourselves, what are we personally willing to do right here, right now, to start changing that? To start changing the message that I actually am resonating. How do I change the example that I am setting?
And yes, we as individual people are not going to change the world. I am not going to change the world. However, that doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter if I fail, if I never see what I want to see in this life, if I never get to live what I'd like to live. Because who am I if I don't try, if I don't live the way that I would like to see others living, if I don't embody the principles that would make this life better for everyone? I don't want to find out who I would be if I didn't. It doesn't matter if I fail. It doesn't matter if I'm called crazy and optimistic and a dreamer. It doesn't matter. Because life is simple and I don't want to keep overcomplicating it.
Man, that's the issue. I think that's what so many of us, myself included, get hung up on sometimes. It's the fact that the solutions really are simple. They're like extremely simple, common sense things. People are here on the planet. We share this planet together. There are resources. Resources have to be shared and used in a way that benefits everyone equally, otherwise there's an imbalance. Imbalance equals someone's going to have a bad time. When someone has a bad time, that creates more problems for other people. Eventually it's going to bite you in the ass. And you might find yourself living a life where you keep telling yourself, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, as long as I can continue to buy my stuff and consume and live in survival and pay my bills. Yeah, that is an okay life. Rather, realize that yes, the solution is as simple as us changing ourselves, first and foremost. And cumulatively, the more we do that as individuals, the more we change the way that we live our lives with ourselves, with each other, and suddenly you might realize something, that the solution was so simple that we kept on missing it because we kept on going into the complications in our own heads where we tell ourselves it can't be that simple. It's a catch-22 that is ridiculous and is time to let go of. So yeah, you can't change the world by yourself, but the example that you're setting is contributing to what is here. So ask yourself if you're happy with that example and what would happen if everybody lived the example that you're living right now.
So we can be an example in every part of our lives. And this is not about the big moments. This is not about getting up on a stage and delivering a speech. This is about how you treat your neighbor, how you speak to someone on the street, how you take into consideration another person's position and experience, the time you take to support someone. It's as simple as that. So, Thanks for watching, everyone. If you would like to and are able to support us on the Get Real page, then go to our Patreon profile where you can become one of our patrons and support us to keep doing what we're doing. See you next time.